I have an idea, a raw data set to a finished product. Are you able to see my screen?
We can see your screen. Thank you so much. We're recording the session too, just in
Yes.
case. But yes, thank you so much.
No problem. So let me quickly use one of the data sets, which was the Halloween data set, because I thought that was very helpful when it comes to um, pivoting of data. So if I were to click on connect to data, any of this, you can see there are several options. There is another quick way of doing this is just drag and drop your file from the file explorer into Tableau. And there you have it. Very easy way of building, getting to your data set. More often than not, this is fast. Uh, Understanding the data, that's important. Consumer spending, per person spending, person celebrating. So these are some of the data sets we had. The interesting part is here, the year is in one column. But if you were to look at, okay, if you were to look at this data set, they are across different sheets and tabs of the data. So how do we go from something that's across different data sets? We can grab one of them, make it into our base table, drag and create a relationship from one data set with the other on the year. Tableau was quick. If I were to click on this noodle, this is a logical relationship where the relationship is on the year field. Same thing, percentage celebration, that can be also another relationship between consumer spending and celebrating. Again, the relationship is on the year field. I wanted to call this out because this is a good example of a logical relationship, which is my recommendation. In the modern version of Tableau, hardly have I used any more blending. And I'm going to date myself, I started using Tableau in 2012 and we had blends. We still have that capability, but I feel relationships are a faster, more efficient way of doing Tableau. Now that we have this here, let me go to a sheet and I have this as my data set. I can right click on it and I can edit date properties. I can say my fiscal start month. Some of the times, this is another quick tip. Some of the times it happens that you work for a company whose fiscal starts not on the January of that year, but say October. I've used this feature in my work. I used to work for one of the banks here, top bank in Canada, and their fiscal starts in October. Another company, they start their fiscal in November. So I would come here, right click, and set my properties right away. Some also set the date property right at the data source level. But here you go. If I do set this at November, and now you see my, these are year fields, but they are showing up as numbers, right? Same over here. So a quick way of changing that would be click on the data type in front of it and change it to date. Same thing for the other year fields, change it to date. Change this to date. With this, you can quickly see that year is no longer a number, but has become a date type. If I go back, let me use this undo button. If I go back, let's understand the difference. In here, if it's a year and I'm right click and dragging it, I don't get any of the date functions. It just shows up as standard measure drop down fields, right? If I were to change this to a year, then very familiar, if I right click, hold my right click button down and drag it into either rows or columns, the familiar drop field options show up. So you can choose anything green that's continuous, anything that's blue is discrete, and you could choose your year. You could put it on the columns. You could further drill down if that were a data type of that kind. So, really quickly, the point that we learned here is how to build a relationship. If I were one of those guys that I didn't believe in relationships, I can remove it. Uh, I could go back into creating a logical layer. But consumers, let's assume a scenario where your data set has consumers spending two tables. And while designing your relationship, you realize that no, my per person spending should be the base table. I can quickly right click on it and say swap with base table, the third option. So whichever is not the base table, I can swap it around. That way, this becomes at the heart of it, and I can now start bringing in the other table and create that relationship. Here, just because I changed this data type here, it doesn't relate anymore, but you get the idea. So we learned about swapping data set. If I were to remove this completely and open, then I'm in the realm of what we are very familiar with, the physical layer of the data set. And then you can do very similar things, but this time it won't be a relationship, it's going to be a join. And I'm sure most of you are aware of it, but for the completeness of this discussion, I thought this was important. Anyhow, so we've looked at data set. What about publishing your data set? Let me, this is our Superstore data set. Most of us are familiar, sample Superstore. Not only did I open my sample Superstore like I did here, in here I want to, I use it to demonstrate my work. I use it to mentor people. Sometimes I build up something quickly, publish it to YouTube, or make a small video. I would like my relationships to not be with people, with returns, but just a pure sample superstore and just leave it like so. If I were to do so, my sample superstore, I can uh, add to my saved data sources. That way, and I have one example over here. Let's call it Florida demo, just for the sake of it, right? And now, when I go to my new data set, here it is. My Florida demo is now a saved data source. So in a real world scenario, if you're using something again and again, repeatedly at your work scenario, you might consider creating it into a saved data source. The other option would be, let me close this. This sample superstore, I can go ahead and publish to server. When I right click on it, there's a publish to server, and I have created one here. And then once I hit publish, it will take me to my server, that project, and show it up over here. Now, if you were to hand over this dashboard to some of your colleagues who do not have that data set in here, the best way to do is to go and connect to a server and bring that data set in from the published data set in the server. Anyhow, that's a lot about data. We talked about data relationship. We talked about, there is one other quick tip I wanted to share. If I went into adding a data source of a TWIBX, a TWBX packaged workbook or a Tableau workbook, I can do so to a file. I can open my any other Tableau workbook here, double click, and it will show me the data source that is within that dashboard. So really quickly, connect to a file, more, double click on my TWIBX, and it will show all the data sources there is. Fantastic. Now, um, we touched upon the power of right click. Let's look into it, look into details. But before we do that, if you do want to find hang on a second. Let me do, yeah. If you do want, I'm using the Superstore data set. I've added two calculated fields and more I will. But if you do want to filter, there is a quick tip that I learned recently. You can filter all your calculations really quickly, or you when you hit upon this filter, you can find all your dimensions in the data or all your measures. I haven't used comments, but you could do that. So this is something nifty. Not only can we search sales, right? Start by searching or category. This is there. Or we can use this filter option and do like so. Great. Now, when you click on the next one would be create a new calculated field. Create calculated field. I have a bunch of formulas that I have written here. Let me control a copy, paste it into my calculation, and now right over here, I can go ahead and select this. Oh, I probably might have these calculated. So let me delete them first. Yeah, I was preparing for this, so I cheated. What I did here to select multiple values, I clicked on one, I held the control or the command button, and then I clicked the other fields, and I'm right clicking and hitting delete. Now, all I need to do is drag these from, okay, hang on a second. Drag, highlight, and drag into the data source. So if you'll see metric prefix, which I just dragged, available now as a calculation. This is a quick way of doing it. If I just focus on the calculated fields, I can rather do this rather quickly. Metric suffix, there you go. A case statement, there you go. You get the idea. A lower limit and an upper limit. I find this very helpful. If I knew what calculations I'm going to use, I would drag and drop, and that's another option that's available to us. Good. If you like what's happening, just throw a thumbs up in the comments. And then if you have any questions, we will circle back.
Um,
Definitely.
I wanted to say a comment about that one. That one I think is a great tip because I'm thinking, let's say, yeah, this exactly. I didn't know, I didn't know that it will take. You see where it says metric select or metric prefix or metric suffix? I didn't know that it will actually grab that as the as the top as the name of the field of the name of the calculated field, which is great. I think what this could be very helpful for people here, everybody, right? Is what if you create this notes document that you have, and then you share with everybody in your team in your company. And let's say that you're in finance. Let's I don't know. Making up this, right? Finance or marketing. Most people will do the same calculations over and over again, right? It's saying year over year, or I don't know, cost or some cost calculation, or some, I don't know, like variance calculations. And all of those you can put them on here in this document, share with everybody in the company, or in at least your team, your department. And every time that they're going to start a new dashboard, they can do what you were doing and done, and they will create the dashboards faster, right? And not only that, everybody will have the same way to calculate things. So it's gonna be like not confusion. How do I calculate this? No, everybody have it the same way. So that's really cool.
Thank you, Jamil. Yes, I absolutely agree with you on this one.
Mhm,
The other option that most of us are aware of
mhm.
is we have a certified data source. So if I built
Okay,
this
gotcha.
and everybody likes what they see, then I can go ahead and then, like we saw, go ahead and then publish this to server. So anyone who has access to it can now download. I can say that use this data source from that project and connect your data. And if I did so,
Okay.
it's going to be. But yes, of course, for a quick turnaround time, we not only have certified data sources, but that option too. Correct. Thank you. All right. Spinning the wheels rather quickly. Let's look at the date field, order date.
Okay.
Now I'm going to right click, drag this, bring it into the columns. We saw the power of right click. Here we get those quick options. If I were to double click it, you would get only the year, which is not too bad. But if you wanted, instead of having to drill in from year to quarter to month, if you directly wanted months, you could just go right click, drag this, and whatever is blue is discrete, whatever is green is continuous. The part that is interesting here is this has 4 years of data. I know because I've been doing this for a while, but this is 2021, 2022. I don't know. Are you able to see format? Here, another quick tip: format workbook, switch it up, make it big. This applies to all the sheets in this workbook. So across all tabs, all sheets, everything. You set it once and then you're good. All right. So we have January and we have a bunch of years here. It would be much easier, and then the challenge here is you can now drill in. Sometimes that's not a good thing to have, or maybe you just wanted to restrict your users to show only the quarters. But if you clicked on quarters, your users can break this dashboard. And if you were to publish it, that's not a cool thing. So, what I found was very helpful, and I will do this, I'll delete these two. All right. The best option I found is to right click, create a custom date. And I can call this a year and choose an option of years. Click OK. If I did so, now if I drag my duplicate the sheet, clean it up. If I were to now drag my, not helping, if I were to now drag my year and put it into columns, I get this option even if I choose discrete, and no more clicking business. You can't drill in. Say, for example, I just want my month and year. A year I figured out, order date, create, custom date, call it month, and instead of exact date, I will choose months. Okay. And now I drag this in, discrete values, and there you have it. No way can they further drill in. It's still, it's firmed, it's fixed at that. The other option here is instead of bringing it in as month, I drag this in, call it month discrete. And there you have my years and my month. So this doesn't allow me to drill any further. So if you really wanted it to restrict user clicking and drilling in and breaking the dashboard, you could choose custom dates. Awesome. We talked about custom dates. Start of a month, we did cover that. Okay. Let me build a quick table here. Let's say segment, category, sales, and profit. All I did was double click. Now, say for example, you just had, uh, let's go back. If I just double clicked and I had sales, you see there are no title. Nobody knows what that field is. There are a few ways of tackling it. Either I could just double click and write sales here. Hope it works. Yeah. And uh, or I want to do it better. I double click on any other measure, go to measure names, edit filter, take away the profit, and you still see sales. That's something I found very helpful. I'm going a little fast, but this is getting recorded, so you can come back and visit this at your comfort. All right, so now, say for example, And most of my clients, several of us, enjoy to see data as a tabular format. Somehow there is still a demand for that. And sometimes there is a need to now color them by different, have their own color scale. So what do I do? If I control and drag while holding your control down, when you do anything, it makes a copy of it, whether it's a pill on the rows or it's a pill on the columns or any of the pills over here in the marks card. So I'm holding control down, dragging this to color. Now I have them colored by like so. I can choose this, make it into a square so that it becomes a filled kind of a tabular structure. And now if I want it to be colored in two different color palettes, I can choose use separate legends. Doesn't look much different here, but now profit and sales are two different color palettes. I can go ahead and choose my profit to be a divergent red amber, and I can leave my sales as blue, or I can go with fancy, make it into a gray, apply. Okay. So now it's visually easier to see that 70,000 in tech was the best profit dollars. And in the sales piece, also technology first was doing really well. And this holds true even if I were to slice it and drill it into further. Awesome. We talked about different color legends. Fantastic. Let's talk about auto sorting. Let's throw in the subcategory and then drag in sales. So there is this sort button right at the top during design time. It's probably helpful to see the high sales first, or if the demand is to see it the other way around, we can do it ascending as well or descending. You see, there is a small ticker over here. Oh, before we get to that, there is another quick tip. Holding your control down, if um, I still have this, should work. Control down, and I'm trying to increase the size of it. It's not working. Control, anyhow. So if I were to not give my user the capability to sort, what happens is, say for example, I now also have profit, and I want my viz to be sorted the way it is. If I were to give this directly to them, there is a chance that the user could. Sometimes there is a need that the user would be able to sort it according to their heart's desire. But sometimes, if you really want to lock it down, then there is one option where you can go worksheet and untake the show sort controls. And now you are unable to, when you publish it, you are unable to mess around with the sorting and lock it in. Okay, we all love maps. How cool would it be if I were to build like a quick map here, make it into a filled map, and then throw in color by sum of sales, right? Now the best part is you see there are a lot of controls over here. If I were to throw this into a dashboard and our trigger happy, mouse happy users were to suddenly zoom in and now they can't zoom back, not all of them are as savvy as to know that there is a little pin here to reset the map. Sometimes it does happen that they really take it out for a toss. What's the best way? Right click on it, go to map options, right click map options, untick all of these. So now your map is again controlled and frozen. Your users cannot mess around with it. Want to bring it back? Go back to map options, tick them back. You're the boss. Now you can do what have you, right? Select a bunch of things and interact with your map. So map interactivity. I tend to hide these options after my design is done before I publish. Great. We talked about this sorting right. This would be a fantastic example. Um, let's clean the sheet. Let's throw in the right click, drag the order date to the columns. I'm choosing continuous quarters, and I'm going to do sum of sales. Right. Now, this is a nice trend chart. Sometimes it is helpful as you hover over it, you see that there are values, there is a small bubble over it, right? To bring the the values, I can toggle between the show text or not, or I can control and drag my sum of sales to the label. That way, everything will show up. But if my requirement is to show these bubbles only on the start or end, that can be done. I go to label, I say min max, and instead of choosing automatic, I choose sum of sales. That way, it's a very clean line, but only those that have the min and max values for sales are shown. And there is a little teeny circle. I don't know whether you can see, but it's a clean line, but only those are as a circle. I think this is a very good quick tip. All right, dynamic ranges. Yeah, I have to bring this data set up. There's this date field. When I throw the date field in the columns and I choose continuous date, these are all the years. I've switched to another data set. For one example that I want to show, let me see. Choose metric. So there is a parameter, show parameter. Oh. Last when I checked, it was working. Bear with me. Okay. Let's leave it at one value just for the sake of this demo. And what is the value? The value is here. Okay. Now, if I make this into a line, all right. So what this chart is showing is the trend of the total spend over years, right? Now, this one starts at on this axis, edit axis. This starts automatic, right? There was one, was it? There was a good example. Now it beats me. Percentage buying candy. Yeah, candy buyers. Let's try this one. Control C. Okay. Add another. Okay, fantastic. So now this is a percentage of candy buyers for Halloween. When you look at this x-axis on this axis, uh, the thing that has happened here is it's a jagged line because it's going from 95% to 96%, right? If I were to show, it's not very easy to read, uh, right? So what option do I have? I can write an upper limit and lower limit, and I look into the calculation here. I try to use this instead of setting my um, axis to start automatically at 0. Sometimes I do find value in focusing on uh, a band which is at the 80% of my lowest value. And this is what that calculation is. It's window min min value of metric selected. It's dynamic in nature. And I have similarly an upper limit here, which is window max value of the metric selected. It's at a 120%, right? So I drag these two, select by control select, drag them to details, and then on analytics, I go ahead and I create a reference band. I drop it on my table. I drop it on the metric selected piece, and this gives me a pop-up. I will say my lower limit, take the minimum, start from my lower limit, minimum value, and I don't want to show anything. I want it to be clean. And band 2, which is my upper limit, that should be my upper limit, the max value of that. And I do not want to show any of these. No fill, no recalculated. So now you can see my range is going from a 75 to 115, which is that 80% and 20% above and below my range. This doesn't make it jagged anymore. So I went from being a jagged trend to something which is more easy to read and dynamic in nature. This is one of the tips I found very helpful. What it would be, fantastic. I spent earlier this, and swiftly moving to the last tip. Okay, there is another quick tip before I talk about Sankey. We talked about map. So I'm coming to an end of this one. Control. So here I have sum of sales, which determines the length of my bars, and I'm coloring it by profit, right? Sometimes it does happen that you want to switch it around. So all I need to do is select both these pills, control select, and then right click and say swap. Now they are sized by profit and colored by sales. So I could quickly do that. Sankey used to be a very difficult visualization type to build, but after an extension was launched, and most people, and you could publish it on public. You could use this on your server. This is an extension that is very helpful. So I wanted to talk about it. All you need to do is go here, click on Viz extension, select that, open. That opens up the Sankey chart type. You need to drag. So if I were to say, show me category and ship mode, these are the two I'm dragging into level. And then I want to size it by sum of sales. I drag the sum of sales to the link. So my category and ship mode on level and sum of sales in link. Now you can see that they are broken down by the dollar of sales between my category and which way they were shipped. What happened in 3 clicks used to take forever before. What would be the last one is, I clicked on a new dashboard. What I tend to do is I want to delete my phone layout. And why do I do that? Because if I leave it in and you're consuming the dashboard in your smartphone, it breaks. So I tend to delete it. I use a width of 1400 by 800. And I'm one of those who is more of a tiled user. I've learned that if I float my title, then in the layout, you get a vertical container. I don't need that outer tile anymore. And now, for the sake of one quick demo, I wanted to drag in a horizontal piece. So I will drag a horizontal container, snap it under the title, get rid of this tiled thing. I don't need it anymore, and hope nothing breaks. Let me drag the map here, and beside the map would be my Sankey. Okay, sales showed up. Um, and now if I go ahead and publish to Tableau public, What I'm trying to show is something I faced recently, and I thought, let me bring this out. Sankey being a new feature from Tableau, it comes native now on Tableau Public, but it doesn't show up. Why? Even though I'm signed in, my Tableau Public, uh, the Tableau Public shows Sankey only if I'm signed in. If I were to sign out and then look at the same dashboard, my Sankey would not show up. I've tested it. The only way to counter it is, boy, I have to log in again.
So, what if somebody like us, anybody here in the chat attending, would like to see that? Will they not see it either, or do they have to sign in?
Uh, Even if they sign in, they won't be able to see. Check.
Mm,
What I can do is I can give you my Tableau public
okay,
on the chat
okay,
and check. That Sankey would not be showing up.
okay,
Let me know.
okay. I will check. No.
It does not, right?
Oh,
When I sign in, I just signed in and I open that, my Sankey will show up, which is
okay.
frustrating because I think it's not broken, but it is. It could be a bug, but here it is. The magic is if I allow access
Mhm.
and now refresh, you'll be able to see my Sankey.
Got it.
Is it showing up?
Wait. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Can you say that again?
I made a change in the setting.
Uh huh.
If you now open my Tableau public, the
Okay.
same dashboard, you should be now able to see the Sankey.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh yeah, I see it now. So what do you did to make it work?
Right. So here is the wheel for
Uh-huh.
settings. I enabled allow access. By default, if I don't allow access, you won't be able to see Sankey. If I allow
Download,
access,
download, or make copy. I see. Okay, got it, got it. If it's it needs to be a download.
correct.
Mm,
Absolutely right.
it needs to
Anyhow,
be able to download the thing. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
yeah,
that's good to know. Mhm.
that's pretty much it. I hope.
Anybody? Yeah. Anybody have any questions? I also added to the chat two links to my profile where you can find calculation specific by industry. It's like a KPI library. And
Awesome.
I was just thinking that you can take those KPI libraries, or like, let's say you're creating KPIs or calculations for HR, like human resources, or finance, or consumer packaged goods, the consumer packaged goods, etc., or restaurants, and you want specific calculations related to that industry. What you could do is go to that link that I have, pick all the calculations, put it on a notepad like you did, and then drag them into the dashboard.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Uh,
Yes.
Anyhow, I also have a YouTube channel where I post 6 to 7 minute
Hmm.
long videos on Tableau tips, how to get something done. If I do a makeover Monday, I make a build along video. So you have the data set, and then I take you step by step as to how to build that data. So I feel that there is value in those who are learning Tableau new to have something to refer to. So in the QR code below my image with a YouTube sign, that's
Okay,
where my
that's what I was
YouTube
gonna
link
say.
is. And then you have my LinkedIn handle as a QR code as well.
Okay, great, great. Anybody have any questions? Anything that you're trying to do, or want have any questions? Enable the extension. Do you? Okay. So yeah. So Jonathan, we're going to provide the data after the fact, after the call, probably maybe tomorrow. You will get a link with the recording. Uh, Somebody's asking, where can you please show again how you enable the extension? Do you know what version it's this available? Okay.
Um, so the I'm using the latest version. I think it
Mhm,
was in the previous one, 2023.3. I think so. It
mhm,
became was made enabled, and here all it is you go in, add
adding.
extension,
Mhm.
and then Sankey. This is the only one available as a sandbox built by Salesforce, free. Ooh, this I didn't know that.
That one is great, great one. I
Yeah,
use
Tableau
the.
table. This is new.
This
I
is new.
didn't even know. Yeah,
You never used that one?
I have not.
Oh, this is better than anything. This
Correct.
is
I,
this
I
is, in my
wait. When I said I
opinion,
have
yeah,
not used it, I have used it in the
yeah,
beta, but I haven't used it after it's sandboxed.
yeah. This is incredible, everybody.
Yeah.
This will make your table kind of like look exactly like Excel conditional formatting and more. So it will make your life way easier with tables, like super easier. Like you really want to like do that one because um that one is seriously the one that it blows my mind because we always like what you're doing right now, right? Like you have all these options, all these different colors, all these things that look more like Excel that we never were able to do in Tableau for the past 15 years, to be honest,
Wow.
and that everybody wanted.
Uh,
Yes.
I didn't even know that this is available. So
Hmm.
good on me that I checked. But
Yes.
yeah, someone was asking. So now you know how to get your extensions enabled. All you have to do is on under the automatic with extensions, add extension. It takes you to Tableau
Hmm.
Exchange internally and natively. Just use the ones which work with public if you don't want any frustration. If I were to use the Tableau table, I won't be able to publish it to public,
Exactly.
right? So it's getting there. I know Ladata Viz, Tristan, they have done such a fantastic work, even in info topics. They are doing so much. I'm really looking forward to the next release. There is so much happening.
That is true. There is other extensions there that everybody can see, but some of them you have to pay for because those are external companies or consultants. But if you want the ones that are free, you just click on where it says free, click where it says Tableau Public, whatever. I think this one, the new one for the tables, is the best. I
Yeah,
seriously can't wait to use it in my company and in Tableau Public. I think people are gonna get nuts with that one seriously because that is exactly what everybody was looking. That one that is for tables because you you can do all this conditional formatting. You can do
yeah.
all those things. Like for example, here's a great example. Look, you can do all of this now, and is that not what everybody always wanted? That's what everybody always we wanted. I mean, this was the honestly, my goodness, the number one thing what I have issues in different companies that I work with Tableau. Oh, but I want it like in Excel. I want it like in this way, and they want all this interactivity. They want all this data visualization things or having this with other charts, and but then they were always, but I need the data this way, right? Or you have the dashboard. The other
Yeah,
option is this: you have a dashboard, but this is a complementary dashboard. This is like another
correct.
page with the data. This is where when somebody says, "Okay, I got what I need," or "I got the insights, but I want this information." I don't know, in a text form and a table format because they're going to use it somewhere else or they need for something else, or it's just another thing. So that could be your second dashboard, your complementary dashboard appendix if you want to. This
Yes.
is the best because doing this without this extension, oh, that will take you forever. That will be
Yeah.
very complicated.
Yeah. Same like Sankey. What used to be a bespoke chart
Mhm,
type is now a matter of 3 clicks.
mhm,
So I
mhm.
agree with you, Yamal. Anyhow,
Yeah, this
it
is a very
was,
good question. Somebody asked, I'm not sure. That's a good question. Can you put the Sankey inside a tooltip? I think you can, right? Possible, right? The extensions.
yeah, let's give it a try.
I'm not
Let's
sure, to
go
be
in
honest.
here, worksheet,
Yeah. Yeah.
tooltip. And
If we can
then
put the Sankey, Pete, we will definitely be able to put the table because both are extensions. Hmm.
sheets, and then am I able to see Sankey?
Mm,
No, I don't see the Sankey.
so the extension, no, I don't see it there.
No.
That's a very good question.
Great question.
Never thought about that question.
Gold star.
Yeah, a very good question. That's a, they're going really quick with these extensions. So I feel like the next, honestly, two updates or two versions of Tableau will be amazing. I really think it's gonna get better and better. And I'm gonna show this quick. One thing that I wanted to show everybody what I was just talking about. So when I was in the Tableau conference this year, I had a to-do presentation, and my presentation was this KPI libraries, and this is on my Tableau public profile. And for example, let's say consumer packaged goods, and I need a calculation for gross margin percentage. So all here is all the calculations already done in Tableau. So you want to look at a very specific one like that, like out of stock rate. So they're all here. And then all you have to do is you click here, copy, and paste it in Tableau already. So I did a few for different industries like education, HR, and then you can see like you're looking for, let's say, overtime percentage. So you click here, and that's the overtime percentage, and then you can grab these calculations from here. Instead of you trying to create the calculations, you can grab them. So what you could do is you can create something like this, put it in a Tableau server, and everybody in your team can have the same type of calculations. Everybody will not need to figure out how do I do this calculation in Tableau. They can actually get it from the server, copy paste, like I said, in your workbook, or they can do what Oyo provided, where it's put it in them in a notepad, and then you can grab them from here, put it on a notepad, and send it to everybody, and then you guys will save so much time. So different options, uh and anybody can create this. This is available. I have one for restaurants where if anybody have, like, for example, this is like, for example, like McDonald's, right? For QSR means quick service restaurants, and if they're looking for something like that, for finance, for general KPIs, etc., they're here. Like, and then you don't have to, like, trying to figure out how to do all of this. It's already done for you. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anybody have any other question? Anybody have any other question? Like I said, connect with us. Connect with us. We're here to help you. Very important, right? We are here to help you out with anything that you need. Let us know if anything that we can do. And I'll see everybody next month. At the beginning of the month, we're gonna have Pablo Gomez directly from London. He's, like I said, Tableau visionary, amazing, amazing, and we're gonna provide more information very soon, probably next week. But yeah, that's gonna be the last one for the year. So thank you, Oil, and everybody that is here in the chat. And I will see you all next month. And this has been recorded. And thank you so much. Anybody? Thank you so much. Bye bye. I'm gonna stop the recording.